Okay. So you're using drugs, lightweight selling
Sure.
drugs, and you start getting in trouble,
Yeah. I was getting in
a few
trouble.
years after that.
Yeah.
But you have a stable family, two-parent home, you're not struggling, you're not in the hood.
Right.
How do your parents react to all this craziness that you're doing?
The using drugs was like not cool. Like they by no means like let that fly. So that was something I tried to like every time I got caught using, what I really did was just try to turn it that I was selling. Because if I was selling drugs, it was really hard for them to get mad at me that I was making money. So as long as it
Yeah,
was
you could get mad at your kid for selling drugs. Come
no,
on.
yeah, of course, but it was a much different conversation. You know, I was like, "What do you want from me? I don't ask you guys for money. I buy my own clothes. I live my own life, and whatever." The conversation was much easier for me to handle than, "Oh, I'm just doing drugs." You know?
Okay. And then, what was it, around 15, you actually started getting arrested for it?
I had been like on and off getting arrested since I was pretty young. I was always a bad, reckless kid,
Okay.
honestly. Um, but yeah, I went to juvie when I was 15. I did 364 days. Came home.
You did a whole year
Yeah,
at what age?
I went in at 15, came out at 16.
Okay, so here you are, a white kid at 15 years old,
Yeah,
getting locked up
yeah.
with a whole bunch of kids that are, criminals,
They were real
essentially.
bad. Yeah, they were real
Yeah,
bad.
like really bad kids.
Real bad, yeah.
They're not coming from nice homes, two-parent homes, everything else like that. They're coming from much rougher circumstances.
For sure.
So when you go in, was there extortion, violence, that type of
Yeah,
thing?
there was everything. There was all that. It was actually, and I've been to all the adult jails. I've been to every type of institution. Where I went as a juvenile was the worst place I've ever been in my life, and it ruined me in so many ways because it set this like idea of consequence that I knew that there would never be a place worse than that, and I believed that, and I happen to have been right. That I never feared consequences as I got older. So as I got arrested as an adult, I'm like, what's the worst you're gonna do? Send me to a better version of where I already been?
Hmm.
It was rough. There wasn't a lot of white kids in there. I was really kind of like dolo. Tons of violence, threat of violence. There was a lot of staff on kid violence too.
I bet.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
arrests made too. They ended up shutting down. So I got transferred after 6 months to another location, and they both ended up getting shut down eventually. But I think while I was in the second place, the first facility got shut down and raided by the feds. There's actually a Netflix documentary about it.
Any sexual assaults or anything else like that?
There's a lot of against me.
In general.
In general, there were a lot of sexual assaults, physical assaults, emotional abuse, all types of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, did anyone ever try that on you?
There was like one sort of attempt against me. It did not. They did not succeed. I tell you that.
I'm sure it's pretty traumatic that here you are, 15 years old, and someone's actually trying to rape you, essentially.
Sure.
How did you fight that off?
So right before we locked in at night, we went into the cells, but the cells don't have locked doors, and I don't know what the reason was. It was almost like dormitory style, but there were still cells in the dorm. There was like three walls basically. Well, there was like the back wall, there was like an external wall, and then like barriers here. And two kids ran in, and they were in cahoots with my bunkie, and they came in and they started saying like threatening like, "Oh, we're gonna sexually assault you." And I stood up, and before there could be any physical confrontation, staff started walking by and they just ran out.
Okay, but then you had to see him the next day.
Yeah, nothing ever came of it.
Okay, you got lucky.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, so you're kind of going in and out of this jail system.
Sure.
You don't graduate high school, so you get your GED while you're locked up.
Correct. And you know what's funny too is I not just got my GED, but I also studied on my own and took my SATs, and I applied as an adult while incarcerated to 5 colleges, and I got accepted to all 5.
Right, but you couldn't actually go.
Yeah, I was on a parole violation. I couldn't get re-paroled.
Okay, so you get out eventually. Was it around 20 years old?
Like for good, for good?
Yeah, I mean, after that stretch.
When I was something like that, 20, 21, something like that, I basically got out of the stretch, yeah.